My adventure so far had seen me cycle around the largest Channel island, which I ended up getting stranded on for over a week, to finally be able to make it over to France and pedal my way through the exciting yet very cold French countryside on my quest to reach Paris. However, now I needed to continue my bikepacking adventure by making it back home to England. All that stands in my way is about 200 miles, 320 kilometers to reach Calais and get a ferry back to Dover in England.
Time to get back to England. First stop, Calais though, to try and get a ferry. Slowly but surely it's getting quieter and quieter as I head out of the city and towards the countryside. So my main aim today is just get out of all the busyness and get out into the countryside. It is currently 2 p.m, so a few hours to do that, which should be fine, and then we'll find somewhere to camp. It's been a bit of a long day, carrying on from this morning from a previous video, but hopefully I can get into the countryside and breathe again. Beautiful city, Paris, but I prefer the countryside.
Reaching the outskirts of the city was a great relief. It was a busy, hectic pedal out of Paris, full of very narrow, busy cycle lanes, so it was nice to reach some gravel tracks and get back into the French countryside at last.
Well, it's good to be back in the countryside on the off-road trails. This route's about 190 miles to Calais, and then obviously a ferry across to Dover. I've done around 25 or something today, and it's already 4 o'clock, which means I'm not going to go on for too much longer because it's going to get dark fairly soon. Hopefully I can find somewhere decent to camp. It's getting a bit windy. It's forecast rain like for the next 3 or 4 days, so hopefully it's not downpour rain, just a little bit of drizzle or something, but it's still cold. But yeah, I'm not going to do too many miles now. Just going to start looking for somewhere to camp for tonight.
It had been a long old day crossing the capital of France. I had set out this morning to reach the capital and ending it getting as far away as possible to find somewhere to camp. This adventure so far had been full of twists and turns, so heading into the woodlands as the day was coming to an end was a great relief. I wouldn't need to search for somewhere to sleep tonight. That somewhere found me.
Oh, that was a lot of mud. That is probably slowing me down quite a bit, but perfect timing. I've just found somewhere to camp. It's only about 4:45, so I've still got like an hour until it gets dark, but I'm in the woods, little spot. I'm going to set up the tent there. I've also got about 164 miles. I'm predicting this ride to Calais to take around 3 and a bit days maybe. So today is the bit part of the ride. If I can do 60 odd miles tomorrow, then it should be around 2 days after tomorrow. We'll see, depends on how everything goes, but that's the plan, a rough plan. Right, I'm gonna get the tent set up and try and get a bit warmer, because I haven't been warm all day. It's just been one cold day. Right, I think this should be good though. Good spot.
Good morning, good morning. It has not stopped raining all night. It hasn't been very heavy rain, but it's just like constant drizzle. But it has stopped for the last 20 minutes, so I'm going to get out of camp pretty quickly before it arrives again. Oh, it doesn't feel quite as cold out here this morning as well, which is a good thing. But it probably means it's going to rain more. Slept really well. I don't want to get up though, that's the problem. But I've got 160 miles to get to Calais, to get the ferry back to England. The goal today is to try and get that 60 miles done. I think for the first 10, 15, 20 miles it's looking quite good. Like, it's mostly downhill, in a downhill direction, through lots of like woodlands and stuff, so that's good. And then we sort of get back into the countryside, so hopefully the wind won't be in my face and we can make some progress. Right, I'm so sleepy, getting quite tired. Right, I'm gonna get up and get underway. Into the forests we go. First proper day of getting back to England. Let's go. I was getting on the trails this morning, still half asleep, pedaling my tired, creaky bike through the forest tracks. Everything around me felt just as drowsy, grey, misty and quiet. The trees stood still, like even nature wasn't ready to wake up just yet.
Well, first 20 miles done. It's been a fun morning actually. Lots of like little forest tracks, nice and hidden, out of the cold wind, which is good. I have a bite to eat now before cracking on with the rest of the miles today. I've got some pizza thing. Oh la la. Really dreading this morning. I was laid in my tent all night and I could just hear that rain just keep splattering on my tent. I thought today was going to be one of them days where it's just that misty, really miserable rain, but luckily that hasn't materialized, and it's just kind of, it's not actually that cold when you're cycling. It's a bit cold when you stop though, that's the problem, so I can't stop too long. But let's eat this pizza. Cheers. Ooh, it's slippery! Horrible, horrible, horrible.
As I woke up a bit, my legs got into a rhythm and I actually started making good progress across the French countryside. The gravel trails were everywhere, way more than expected. Who knew France had so many? Smooth, winding paths cutting through the fields, almost perfect for riding. It almost felt like they were made just for this. If it hadn't been so wet, they really would have been perfect.
The sun, even the sun is trying to come out today. It's turning into a great day. Got 126 miles until Calais, so that leaves me with 26 miles today left to do roughly. I've been off-road the whole day though, like I've touched the road hardly ever. I've just been cruising through all these fields and they've been fairly dry. Mostly all rideable, so that's nice. It's just nice to see and feel that sun, even if it is only for a brief moment. If I do these 26 miles, I do believe it leaves me pretty close to a big built up place I can't remember the name of. I'll put it on screen if I remember. So it will either be camping just before there or whizzing through there, probably in the darkness before finding somewhere to camp on the other side, but we'll see. I'll make that call when I get a bit closer. I think right now it's probably going to be the longest section where I'm not on an unpaved surface, because my Garmin's saying the next unpaved road is in 3.6 miles. So I got 3.5 miles of just nice, cruisy French countryside. Whee! Oh la la!
It actually wouldn't be that long until I found myself back on the off-road tracks and making my way to the next built-up place on my adventure, Amiens. Rolling into the city, I spotted the cathedral from miles away, towering over everything. This cathedral took nearly 70 years to build, which for something this massive is actually pretty quick. It's the biggest Gothic cathedral in France, so big you could fit 2 Notre Dames from Paris inside. Up close, the details were something else. The entrance is covered in rows of stone figures, all carved with incredible detail. I didn't stop for long though, just long enough to take it all in. The sun was getting lower in the sky and I needed to find somewhere to set up camp.
Well, I have achieved what I wanted to achieve today. I've got it down below 100 miles left until Calais. And what's better is the sun is there behind me, so I'm actually going to see it set today. But that does mean I probably won't be in camp before it actually sets, because I've got about an hour, 50 minutes to an hour until the sun sets. I need to get out of this busy place and find somewhere to camp. Hopefully, I did when I was dropping into here, I could see woods in the distance, but still a little way off. So I've done 66 miles. I've done 66.66 exactly right now. So a little bit further than planned, but probably going to get to 70 by the time I found somewhere to camp. All the better to give me an easier day tomorrow though. But I gotta go find somewhere to camp. Oh, it's been a long day, but we're under 100 miles. Let's go find somewhere to camp.
Oh, wow. It's all rainy and miserable out here today. I didn't get to camp until like 9 o'clock last night because everywhere there was just nowhere to camp. It was fields after fields. None of them were just grass. It was just like full on mud, farmers' fields, just boggy, big, sludgy mud. But I did stumble across this little bit of woods, which I managed to set up. Oh, let's get in here because it's raining. But I am, by the looks of it, starting out today in the rain, which is never fun. I hate putting away the tent in the rain. But because I did go on till like 9 o'clock last night, I did end up doing something like 85 miles, I think it is, and I think I've got about 85 miles to go in total. Now today's goal is to get as close to Calais as possible so I can book a ferry to get back to England, back to Dover. Now, stop getting wet. Now I want to get across to there's like this nature, like natural landscape type place, but that's still another 40 miles, so definitely want to get across to there. I'm going to try and just fly through all this rain. Hopefully it will stop and get through to there, because then I won't be in the same scenario as I was last night, having to ride into the night and find somewhere to camp. But ideally just get as close to Calais as possible. But first I need to get out of this tent and on the road onto my muddy bike. Come on then. We're very, very close to England now. You can tell, it's raining. Let's do it.
Rain, rain, go away, come back another day, preferably when I'm in my bed. Here we come, squeaky brakes, squeaky brakes. Let's go, let's do this.
It had been an incredibly long night, slow going through the muddy trails trying to find somewhere to camp. And I would be continuing on through them muddy trails for a little while longer this morning, and with the added benefit of it now raining, Today was looking like it was going to be just one of them days.
It's so grim out here today, and so cold. There's like sun over there, sun over there, sun over there, but I'm just stuck under this cloud that just seems to be following me. I'm hoping it'll overtake me soon and I'll be able to dry out and get warm. Oh, it's just like, it's like 3 degrees, but then add the rain, add the wind, and it just gets worse and worse. But I have had quite a few road miles this morning, which has been quite nice because I've done about 17 miles. So coming up to the 20-mile mark for the day, and about 70 or just under 70 miles to go until we get to Calais. But it's miserable. I just stopped, grabbed a few supplies. I was quite lucky to find somewhere that's open because it's Sunday and everything's shut on Sunday normally. But climb this hill, warm up a little bit hopefully. The slower I go, the faster that cloud goes into the forwardness. My brain is frazzled.
It's still raining. It says it's gonna stop. It says it's stopped actually, but it's not. So we're gonna carry on. It's slowing down. The sky's a little bit brighter. But I'm heading that way. I think I've got about 20 miles until I'm in like the naturey, like the landscapey, like, well, I don't know what they call it in France, you know, where it should be a little bit showered, some trees around maybe, and hopefully this rain cloud will have passed. Come on, I can. It's like it's sunny there. Just this way a little bit more. This way a little bit more. It's just so cold. A little bit cleaner, kind of. I just kept pedaling to stay warm today. Even though the rain had supposedly stopped, there was just nothing I could do about that. So I just focused on making progress, pushing through the wide open wind farms. Of course, that meant it wasn't just the rain I had to deal with, but there was a silver lining. The wind was on my back, pushing me towards England, and ever so slowly pushing that rain cloud further into the distance. Further into the distance and away from me. This is either going to be the worst, like 14 euros I've ever spent, or the best. Not bad. I just don't have any way of cutting it. It's just peak bikepacking. A pizza from a vending machine in a bus shelter with no bench. Oh, it's good. I've got about 35 miles until Calais, maybe actually even 30. So I'm looking to do 10 or 15 more. Just going to try and get to like the highest point before I drop down to Calais, find somewhere to camp. Sun has come out, everything is good. I can feel my hands, my feet are still warming up, but we're getting there. Now I'm just going to enjoy this pizza. Burger pizza. It had been an incredibly long day, probably the hardest of the whole trip since leaving England about 2 weeks ago. A warm meal was much needed as I pushed my way up the final climb, the last high point of this adventure, and all that hard work was finally rewarded with the sun on my face and an incredible sunset. If I had given up when the day felt impossible, I would have missed this. Sometimes you just have to trust that something good is waiting beyond the struggle. You just have to keep going long enough to see it. I woke up early, knowing today was the day I'd be heading back to England, finally making it to Calais from Paris. As I pedalled the last of the French trails, it was pretty clear I was so close to home. The weather said it all. Grey skies, a cold wind, and that damp chill creeping in. That sunset from last night? Yeah, that was the last bit of sun I'd see on this adventure. Welcome back to England.